The fact is the World Cup's happening, Graeme. And it's happening in November, December, and that is a fact. So it's time to get on with it. The bottom line is, were you not always an advocate of play at any time, pull on the shirt of the club, be proud of it and get on with it? When you played, and obviously a lot of people will say, oh yeah, well that was then and this is now. But you're happy to play the weekend, maybe on a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, whenever the midweek fixture was, and they were all big games because you were at Liverpool, and you got on with it. But is fixture congestion nowadays a clear and present danger to the players?
Yeah, I think UEFA have introduced a couple of competitions, both for the national teams. What is it called? The UEFA Conference?
Nations League?
I've lost.
Or you mean the third tier of European domestic football? Yeah.
And then the group stages. So it's earning money for UEFA. It's, and televisions are buying it and showing it. So there's money for everyone. And that would appear to be the price on the ticket. I'd also like to say every player is different. Some players, not always, it's not a black and white thing. What position you play on the field, you can deal with it better. The sprinters, the guys up front, they're most susceptible to muscle injuries if you're pushing them. I'm sort of stuck between two stools here because, television is driving it, and the football clubs have bought into that. They've signed the contracts. The Premier League have signed the contracts on their behalf. So they've all bought into it. FA have bought into it. Everyone's bought into it because it's generating more money. And then if you ask owners of football clubs, you'd be getting a very different answer to the manager, I'm sure, if there was that opportunity. I think it's a difficult one. I think it is what it is. For the Premier League teams right now with the 5 substitutes, that helps the bigger teams, no doubt about that, because they carry stronger squads than the rest. And I just think it's an argument. I can see the argument from both sides. When you're a manager and you've got lots of injuries, you're putting it down to fixtures and too many games coming thick and fast. But these clubs today have enormous. I mean, we won the league one year with 14 players. Okay, the game's changed. The pass-back rule is changed.
14
it makes
players.
You get a bit of a breather now.
Yeah.
But and if you factor in as well, Jim, we were not living like these players are living today. We had 2 big nights out a week after games. I say a big night.
Yeah.
Think of a big night.
If you were at Liverpool now, though, would you be saying what Klopp's saying? This mid-season World Cup's a nightmare for a domestic
was that
manager.
an interview after the Fulham game?
I was at the weekend, or just before it actually. He spoke just before the Fulham match.
Well, yeah, he's trying to project forward and look at the bigger picture. Yeah, the World Cup coming this time as a unique scenario will cause problems for football clubs. But I don't think Jurgen will get much sympathy from any other part of football. Neither would Pep, neither would the Chelsea manager, and neither would the teams who carry big squads. They will not be given any sympathy from the rest of the league because of the kind of players they have in their squad.
So the message is get on with it.
And because we're in the entertainment business. We're in a business that generates lots and lots of money, and they take the checks when they come on.
The subject of this, or the point of this, is that we're listening repeatedly on Fridays to Martin, and I'm just making Martin the point of this conversation, talk about the nature of how players are not considered at the table, how the world needs to look at the reality of how players are being worked like horses and flogged into the ground. And the challenge for me is you listen to one side of things, you say players that won't sign I won't sign for you unless you're playing in the Champions League, which naturally means more games, right? And I want to play international football, and if I'm stopped from going to the African Cup of Nations, I'm going to have a problem with it, right? So that means more games, right? And I want to play for a side that's competing in the FA Cup and the League Cup and winning medals and winning opportunities. That means more games. And then you've got this other side of the argument, which is how do you square this circle? No one's offering a solution. What I think the battle is, Graeme, is that players now have got to a situation where they actually believe that they're running the game. They actually believe the memo that Mbappe got, which is, I will decide who the technical director is, and I will decide which players we buy. And that's the battle that's going on, rather than rotating squads. If you get 5 subs, managers will want 7. When you give them 7, they'll want 9. And it goes on and it goes on and it goes on and on. I think Klopp has continued this battle in English football about what he thinks players should have to experience, irrespective of the fact that the major beneficiaries, and I hate to make it all about money, but everyone else does, everything's about how much players cost, how much their salaries are, so the football world made it that way. The major beneficiaries of everything are the players. How can you then say, don't take some of the downside, which is more games? I can't square the circle. I can't sit there without being entranced, which means people can turn around and say, because you're a bleeding owner. It's got nothing to do with it. I can't square the circle. You get all the money, you get all the benefits, And now you want to sit at the table to tell people what you don't want to
play
do.
less games, yeah. No, it's a contradiction. It really is going forward.
So our answer is, Jurgen, we hear you.
Get on with it.
But go on with it.
Yeah, listen. You're in the Premier League. You'll end up in the Champions League every year. That is the price on the ticket.
If you were a player or a manager, Graeme, would you be griping about it?
No.
Honestly, be honest with me. No.
I never. I tell you how it works. Or it worked for me, and I assume the guys I played with. I only got tired when we weren't winning. If we'd lost a game, if you're winning, you want to be playing every other day. That's exaggerating the point, but to make a point, you enjoy playing football. If you're in a winning team, you enjoy playing. When it's not going well, then maybe you say, "Oh, I'm just feeling my groin. I feel a wee bit tired today," and I don't. I would have played every day of the week if my body would have allowed me.
So if you're winning, bring it on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.